What does that even mean? Why they do that?
It helps. Well, you guys jam. You guys have the audio and the video jamming, right? Because normally when you don't have that, then you want to be able to get everything together for time codes. So in post, yeah, it's good for post. Well, it helps post out.
You're so professional.
Barely. I just know a little something.
How long have we known each other?
Oh God. We were just talking about this. Over 10 years. Your 30th birthday was 2010, you said, right? Yeah, so over 10 years.
You're aging me right now, it's all good.
Ooh, you're aging me, shit. I'm the female here.
No, hey, but you said my 30th birthday was 10 years ago.
Oh, I apologize. Cut that.
Nah, I'm actually looking forward to...
You're 40?
My 40s, yeah.
Oh, so
I
am too.
You know? Mm-hmm. I think life is actually now starting to make sense. You know, things that we've done in our past, and maybe mistakes we've made, you know, and then we learn, we grow, we get wiser.
Right.
And then we look back at the youth and we're like...
What just happened? Life started making sense for me at 30, which was a few years ago.
Right.
But life started making sense. Things started falling into place a little better. I started learning myself more and accepting myself more. And the things that, you know, are flaws are just what they are for me, so...
Yeah. What didn't you like about yourself?
What I didn't like about myself. I think a lot of the things that women don't like about themselves, like certain physical appearances, or like, you know, there was a notion of like, you know, women have this sense of like we have to be very independent and we have to be very like we can't depend on a man for certain things or for anything at all. And that was my mentality in my 20s. It was like, fuck man, I don't give a fuck. Like I'm doing this on my own. And then you realize in your 30s that it's okay to be needy of certain things when it comes to your partner.
Right.
You know, like, so just personal things more so that I reflected on and I learned a lot about myself on.
You feel like you need...
I feel like it's okay to be your most raw and true self with the person that you're sharing your life with, essentially. If this is a partner, your commitment in a relationship with, then it's okay to be needy about certain things. So it's okay if like you need a little bit of that affection or that love, because I think women, we have to, you know, we're told to put this shell up and to be so tough that we lose that femininity that we should have sometimes.
Especially if you're like in an industry like you're in and getting the success that you've gotten, does it make it even more difficult to...
It's always so weird when somebody says that. Success. Listen, honey, I'm making a steady check. And in this business, it's not easy to do that.
Exactly.
So I've been making a steady check for a few years, so that's, you know, I can pay the bills good now. The credit repair has been done, so.
Yeah, is it harder to put yourself in that needy position as you become more successful and independent as a woman, and then now all of a sudden you say, well, I'm doing A, B, and C professionally, but then personally this might be lacking, or how do I shift my mentality to now accept somebody to, I don't want to say dominate, but be more, I guess, submissive? I
think it's an everyday challenge. I don't think I'm ever going to perfect it. Like, I think it's always going to be, you know, it's hard to go from this position for 12 hours a day and then come home and then not have that, you know, have that pit bull, you know, in a skirt mentality when you come home. At least for me, personally, it's been challenging to figure out a way. And do I want to be able to kind of let that go in a personal aspect? I do. You know, I don't want to have to feel like I'm running a relationship or running the dating world, whatever that looks like. But it's not easy. It's not a balance that I've acquired yet. Yet. Hopefully one day I will, but not now.
How did you even get into that? Because when I knew you, I'm trying to remember. Do you remember how we met?
I had just finished what was it the Improv? When were you DJing for Ingrid at the Improv, or was it at Love Hate?
Both.
Which was first? Because when I had that whole scene, I was still bartending and waitressing at the Improv Comedy Club in Coconut Grove, which was like 2008.
Yeah.
8 or 7, and then I had just started interning at Slip and Slide Records down here. Oh, okay. So I phased out of that label. I mean, I phased out of the bartending stuff when I had finished college. It was 2009. I had just started interning for them. Late 2008, 2009. So I had probably met you around that time.
Yeah. That was probably love hate. I think everybody that I've gotten close to in this city since I moved back from New York, I met through
love hate.
Yeah.
That was a good time in the city.
Legendary.
Good time in the city. Good people.
Selborn, Mark G, Johnny Walker Red, DJ Ferg Fresh.
I didn't even know he did a name change, honey. Who is this? Oh, this is...
Because you know his real name is Jermaine Ferguson.
No.
That's where the Ferg came from.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's like, that's what he used to be called. And he's like, nah, I'm going back to that. Yeah, I slip up every now and then. I call him Johnny. And
I need to change that on my phone because I definitely still have it as Johnny Walker Red.
Because because you know, 10 years you calling somebody one name and then
you gotta people call you Fly Guy. I still call you Rasan. That's how you saved on my phone is Rasan. Yeah, so sorry, people know that about you.
See, it's all good.
Now people some people do, some people do. I guess, you know, because I'm Googleable now. So if you Google me, then that'll come up. If you Google DJ Fly Guy, then my name will come up, or it'll show my Facebook page or some shit like that, which is fine. It's fine with me, you know. I don't mind. I'm not like people out here like, oh no, you can't know my real name. And
what you hiding?
Yeah, I'm not hiding shit, you know. No, but getting back to how you got into the entertainment business the way you did, like. Because it was like one day you were here, you were coming to Love Hate, and you came to my 30th birthday party, and then you were like, oh, I'm moving to New York. And you were out.
I was out.
And then next thing you knew, you were like in the television world. How did that process?
Well, I was at Slip and Slide for a few years, and I had, in one of my trips to New York, I had met Mona. Mona Scott Young, who's the head woman in charge of the brand, of the Love and Hip Hop brand, but of Mona Me Entertainment. So I had met with her and connected with her before even the Love and Hip Hop stuff started really surging. I was with her. I toured with Missy for two or three different tours. Oh, nice. Yeah. And I was helping her with some of the new acts that she was having, and then she, you know, got Love and Hip Hop, or she, you know, Love and Hip Hop was about to come out, so then I helped her do the premiere party for the show in New York, and then that's how I kind of started working with her hand in hand. I ended up phasing out of Slip and Slide in 2010 or 11, I can't remember what year now, 2011, and then, you know, she's like, do you want to come to New York and help me, you know, with a lot of stuff that I have going on, and I said, fuck it. And I moved to New York March 24th of 2012. Wow.
And been there since?
Been there since, in Jersey.
Damn.
Jersey.
What's that experience been like for you? Like,
it's been a whirlwind. I mean, I having no prior television experience, didn't go to school for that. I went to school for criminal justice. I didn't anticipate even getting in the music business at first. It was just by chance. I was waiting on the VP of marketing, the former VP of marketing, Wendy Morgan, back then at Slip and Slide, and she was like, I like your personality. You should come in for an internship. And I said, oh, okay. Not really knowing what I was getting myself into. Right. Being at the label for about 2.5 years, they had signed Jagged Edge. So that was my prominent project, was them with the label for all that time. Every day just, okay, I'm put in this position, let me figure it out. And that's just been the journey in my life, is, okay, this is in front of me. And as opposed to trying to be nervous about, not to say that I'm not nervous, but as opposed to being scared away because I don't know. I just jump in head first and figure it out. And that's how television happened. The first job I had was casting season 3 of Love and Hip Hop New York. The climate of the show was shifting. Jim and Chrissy weren't coming in for season 3. A lot of the cast members weren't coming back. So there was a surge in changing the show in a way. So started casting a bunch of people. Then a lot of old relationships that I had, I brought onto the show. Winter Ramos, which she was a co-worker of mine at Slip and Slide. She actually used to style a bunch of New York people, Fab including. So she ended up having a quick guest appearance in season 2, and then she came on season 3 as a cast member. And then she had a friend, L'Oreal, that I met, and that's how L'Oreal came on. And I met Rashida Ali at a by chance, dinner with another woman, and then she ended up accompanying me to Tahiri's birthday party, and that's how I got Tahiri. And then I ended up, so it was casting was my first job really with the show, and then it kind of went from there, and I became a producer season 4, and it just kind of went from there. So I've been with the brand for a long time.
I think Jim and Chrissy were like my favorite characters.
Yes, they were a staple. They were loving hip hop in its truest form. Actually,
I think one episode I think he cried in one episode, and I was like, it was something about that was such a realistic moment for me that I was like, damn, that's because I had an experience where I cried on television, where I did a VH1 Master the Mix,
the DJ,
right. And the episode that I got kicked off on, I had a breakdown on camera, and you film something and then it comes out 6 months later.
Right.
So you have all that time, you forget what you did sometimes on camera. But when that shit happened and I ended up breaking down, I'm like, fuck, I just cried. I know they're gonna air that shit on TV.
Course.
Like, that's coming out.
Of course. Pain, funny, and drama are the 3. We're gonna figure out a way to make that work in the post, honey. So yeah.
So that makes me ask, like, is that why? I'm trying to be politically correct, but is there a benefit to putting that type of visual out in order to make a show successful, you think?
I think a successful unscripted show involves people being unapologetically unfiltered in their truest selves in every which way and form. I think when people start to overthink and overanalyze, they try to overcompensate for things that, people at, back then, you as well, we grew up. I got into the business even with, there being a little mystique, that's being like, oh shit, we don't know much about this person. We just know the artist in them. So it's like, ooh, but like, I think, we've gone through a transition to where now transparency and personality almost beats talent a lot of times, to be frank with you. And, and a lot of people judge that. A lot of people are like, oh my God, it's not anymore about the talent. It's about like people's personalities and how much they can open up. And for people that typically never got a chance or would have never had a chance before to be on television or become successful or make money off just who they were, now have the opportunity to just be who they are, jump on camera and get a bag. Right. So I think it's shifted in a lot of ways. So I think now in order to really connect, people want to feel genuine connections. I think social media became a big factor in that, because where before you could never reach you can never reach these artists or these celebrities that you were fans of. Now, if you tweet them or you comment on their post, they may write back. Right. They may DM back. Who knows? Now you have a closer access to these people. So I think there's a level of like connection that fans and people want to have with who they're following, who they're fans of. They want to be fans of you because not just you're talented, but because you have a great story that they want to support, or you have all these things that you're dealing with or working with, and they want to feel like that you're normal just like them, Like I put out this content, right, where I call it like behind the grind. And in it, I'll post something about like going to visit my father's gravesite, or a studio session, and just really give people more of an inside look, an in-depth look to me beyond DJing at parties and performing in shows, and just that surface shit that they see. Right. And like you said, like I think it helps people to buy into me as a human being. Right. And then within the human being, then, if I give them music, they're gonna listen to it. If I invite them, because they become supporting you. So it's like selling water to a well at that point. Like if they support you as a human being, they see that you're a decent person, that you've gone through trials and tribulations and you don't look like what you've been through. Right. It's like, oh shit, so he got this, I want to support this because I like him as a human being, and that's, I think, where we're at now in our times, is like, that's why I think reality TV thrives still, is because it's like, you have all these billions of people in the world that have all these billions of different points of views and billions of stories, and people who have passed, they have their stories that were never told, so you have all these different ways of just like creating compelling stories and creating content that you can service the people with and you can learn from at the end of the day. So that genre of television is always going to be successful in any form, digital or just traditional, because it's people's authentic selves and their stories.
It's funny, I was watching an Anderson Cooper interview Howard Stern, and I'm like, let me just see. So I put up a post on my IG story and I added Anderson, CNN, and Howard Stern. I'm like, this is a really dope interview that Anderson Cooper's doing. And he responded to the shit. And he woke up, he was like, glad you liked it. And I was like, wow, so you're right. Actually, you never know who might actually.
And before, you would have never thought that someone, in that caliber would have responded to any one of us. But it's like now it's the connection with the fan, connection with the audience that helps support what you're trying to do.
I get DJs and artists all the time DMing me now saying, can you just listen to this song?
Right.
Can you, and any pointers for me, any advice you have? And I'm like, wow, when did I become the go-to
guy.
person for advice or insight or, and I'm like.
Well, you've been in the game for a long time.
But it doesn't feel like it because
Right.
I still feel like it's so much shit I'm trying to do.
Right.
I'm still trying to make strides and continue to evolve, as an artist and as a brand.
But that's a lifelong journey for us. Like no matter how much we've been able to accomplish, there's a whole world out there to explore, and a whole bunch of rocks to turn and shit. Like that's the right term, rocks turn, table, whatever that's called.
Right.
Yeah. So like it's always going to be a lifelong journey for us, is to uncover and figure out new ground to cover.
Would you ever want to direct? Like movies or television or anything like that, like being in the TV world, like would you want to go into?
Well, directing in the television world, the producer is the hierarchy here. In film, the director is hierarchy.
Okay.
So
School me.
No. It's things that I've learned along the way. So in the television world, I've kind of gotten to that point already because I'm an executive producer. But I directed my first interview maybe in June with Trina and Lala. They had a behind the scenes type of promoting her album. So Trina's team asked me to help out with something, and it was an interview. Like it was more of this kind of conversation between two friends, Lala and Trina. So that was my first directing thing. But yeah, there's so many things that I don't know yet about the television world. I just got thrusted into this world and figured out my way and have made it happen by the grace of God and the people that have schooled me and have opened up the doors for me. But yeah, I mean, even now, like I'm diversifying my resume and what people predominantly know me for. And for the past maybe 4 months, I've been working on a bunch of independent projects, a couple that I've funded myself. And, I don't have the Viacom budgets where I can have eight cameras, DP, director, I don't have all that yet. So I've had to learn. One of my first self-funded shoots, I had two cam ops that I've worked with before that did it for me on a different rate. I rented the gear and I PA'd. I helped audio put the mics on because I feel like a good leader knows everything and I'm not sitting there just motherfucking well go over there, go to Walgreens to get the water. No, we all working together, and this at the end of the day, this is something that I'm doing myself. So no matter what my position is, I always want to be at a level where I'm able to go behind and call cameras. I've been able to do that now because I'm learning shit as I go and trying to figure out shit on my own.
And I think that helps people, that makes people want to be there for you even more, just knowing that you'll get your hands dirty too, you'll be a part
Absolutely.
of the process.
I think anybody that is not willing to get their hands dirty don't really want it that bad.
Right.
For real, you sitting up and you trying to boss everybody around, you're just a boss, you got to be here willing to learn with everybody else. Right. So so I've had 2 projects that I've been, independently funding, just to get sizzles together, with two talent that I know. And yeah, I've had to get my hands dirty, and it's been nerve-wracking, because I'm also learning how to edit now on Avid, and it's oh my God, this is editing is the most tedious. I don't think that's one thing that I'm going to end up doing, but just the process of I'm learning that, I think it'll help me overall in the next projects that I'm trying to put out there.
He hates me because I sit with him and we edit shit together, and I'm like,
you're learning.
No, okay, do this, yeah, and like I didn't realize until I actually like sat through a process how tedious that shit is.
Absolutely, bro. Like I commend anybody that works in the post side of things, because editing something, color correcting, shooting it in a way like, you know, like I don't know how these lenses work. I'm sure these lenses are shooting flat, so then you can bring the color up and post it. Like it's a whole world, and people don't always understand the production behind the show. They just see whatever's put out there. Product, but it's when I doing Love and Hip Hop, I mean, people don't understand. It's running a crew of 30 every single day. It's having a team of editors on the post side and working with the other departments to make, you know, a show happen. Graphics, I mean, along with just Love and Hip Hop or any of the other shows that I've done, it's like it's a big team behind all these projects and all these different productions that people don't always understand.
See, even within that process alone, like there's a story behind that, like the creation of the show, the production of the show, like how it gets from an idea to what somebody sees on television. Right. That whole A, B, C, D, you know, to Z, that shit could be documented too and put out and be like, really, okay, you're watching this show and you like it, but you know, the reason you like it is because all this fucking hard work went into the shit. Right. You know, and now you kind of get a glimpse of what that's like that's, you know, that's a show idea.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know if I want to be in camera that much, but sure.
You know, or what do you call it when it's somebody acting as you, portraying you, a scripted series?
Interesting.
You never know.
One day. Maybe.
So what are you, like, coming from, where are you from?
I was born in Jersey, but I was raised down here.
Describe you as a youth compared to yourself now. Like, is it much different?
I don't know. Like, I mean, of course, there's elements of me that are mature, but how I was as a youth, I mean, I don't know how to really answer that. Like, I'm trying to think how I was as a kid. I was, you know.
Like, were you independent as a kid?
I was always very rebellious. I was always against, you know, not doing things in a traditional sense. I think I still do that now. I still joke at bad times. I think I still do that now. Like I find my way out of things through laughter, so I think I still do that now at times. I've always been a people person, even back then. I think, I mean, I was bullied when I was younger. I mean, I was definitely aggressive crybaby. Like I would be like, you know, like I was wilding when I got from that phase, and then I was wilding when I was in middle and high school. You know, so I mean, am I different? Sure, I am different. I've matured, but a lot of those like elements are still.
But see how you say you were a people person.
I was always a people person. I wasn't. I was bullied, so it was always the factor of I wanted to be liked and I wanted friends, so I was as personable as I could be, you know, in the scheme of motherfuckers not liking me for whatever reason, because I was a child and I was being bullied, but I always wanted to be liked when I was younger. That's changed a little bit. You know, I think we all want to be liked at some point, but like I mentioned, like the 30s became something really different for me, so it's not.
I think you mentioned being a people person, wanting to be liked. I think, you know, it's manifested because what I see is like people really fuck with you. Like people genuinely love you. Like your birthday party, what was that a few weeks ago? But your mother performed, I think, with her band, and like people love you.
Aww.
You know?
That's still weird. I mean, it's you know, this industry is so fickle, so it's like it's always like I'm thankful that the people that I've known for 10 years and have seen me transition are still people that I can call on and hang out with and get fucked up with and have fun with to this day. It's always like it's a beautiful thing. It's a little like, you know, this industry is fickle, so it's always hard to understand who's what motives right people are around you for. But I think for the most part, I found a really, you know, great group of people that just fuck with you to fuck with you.
How do you deal with, you know, the people that are trying to be opportunists and you know, cling on to you because of your position and what you do, or they think of what you can do for them?
I mean, I'm never gonna say that I'm gonna push them away, because at the end of the day, like, everybody's in it for a reason. So if there is a person that comes up to me because they want to be a cast member on the show, they're coming up to me for an opportunity. So why am I gonna, I'm not gonna fuck with you because you want to be a cast member on the show? Like, I think you have to understand how to deal with everybody in a different way. Like, I don't take things personal anymore. Maybe before I would think like people want to generally be around me for certain things, and some of them do. Like, there's cast members that we become real cool even after doing the show. So how I deal with them is not, knowing every relationship and how it's different, and not trying to make everybody a friend or not trying to be everybody's friend,
I have difficulty with that.
I mean, not to say that not to say that I don't have difficulty with that, but I've learned how to, appreciate quality over quantity at this point in my life, and that's what's been key. Like, really getting into my 30s has become really eye-opening for me, and really understanding. I've had, some life experiences that have helped me understand who's for me and who's not for me, and those experiences help me understand, like, okay, I know I can call this person for that, or I can call that person for this. There's people that I've never knew that I can call for something that, surprisingly, oh shit, you care about this or you care about that, which is like also something, so it's also giving people the opportunity to hang themselves or not hang themselves,
journey. I've seen and I've watched yours, and it's dope that like we're just really like out here like doing shit. You know what I'm saying?
Making a check.
Making a check, but it's not all about the check though.
No, yeah, making a check. Building something great.
I say
We're contributing to the culture.
Amen.
And like,
Amen.
It's whether it's from a television production standpoint, a music creation standpoint, a DJ party giving people good vibes standpoint.
Right.
Like, it's somehow all contributing to this culture that we love, which is hip hop in a sense.
Right.
And all the different facets of it, and it's helping to push it forward.
Amen.
I think our generation maybe is being biased, but we're like the best generation. Like, we were born at the right time.
After the mistakes and before the fuck up.
After the mistakes and before the fuck up. Damn.
And we're not the first. The firstborn child, you make a lot of mistakes with that. So our generation is the second child, which is like, okay, I learned some stuff from the first generation. Let me put that into play.
What's like your end goal? Like,
end goal. I don't want there to be an end goal. I just want to keep going. It's short-term goals. Like, I want to, put out content of my own. I've been working on a few projects that I'm, praying and pushing forward that, it comes to fruition in the next 6 months. And there's a really good chance of that. So I'm diversifying my resume, and, people know me to have produced certain types of content. And I'm so thankful for that. And now I want to be able to just tell many more stories, and be a part of something really grand. Like, a lot of people don't know that I work with Slick Rick, and I've worked with him for 10 years,
amazing.
And, and he got a citizenship 3 years ago after a 23-year bid with immigration. And he has a very impactful story to tell. And, God willing, we'll be able to get into that before election time. With immigration and what's happening. I mean, immigration's always been a hot topic, but it's just been so prevalent in the past few years because of, what's happening in our judicial system. So, that's a story that is absolutely worth telling. And, you always wear the immigrant shirt. We're all immigrants at the end of the day. So, he although he's Jamaican by way of London or by way of the UK, we're all of his story is a piece of all of us because we're all, our ancestors are not from here. So, that's a story that, God willing, it comes to fruition very soon, and, a bunch of other stories. And, helping, like, the one thing that I think Love and Hip Hop has helped me do is, people have a certain sense of what that show is like and the people behind that show. But I think, we've been able to give different spectrums to a character that's on the show. So people that may not have known that Trina, for example, season 2 was going through all these different challenges and trying to put out a project, and she had breakdowns. People have never gotten to see that side of her, so you see her having breakdowns and pushing through her project and having to deal with like family stuff and relationship stuff, and seeing a full spectrum of somebody is something the show has allowed me to do. So I just hope to be able to have that same opportunity with other people that I work with. And, people may know them from a certain way, but like, here's a different side to them that you may be able to relate to. So, meaning different, because we all have a story to tell. At the end of the day, if you really take your time to listen to somebody, we all have a story to tell. We all have something that's worth listening to or worth learning from. So, that's my 6-month goal is that, is putting out the projects that I've been really trying to manifest. That's pretty much the, learning to find a balance between, work and play, or work and personal, or work and self. It's always, as a woman, like it's so many elements to try to maintain a level of, something and still be able to thrive in business. So it's a balance that I haven't found. So I hope to find that somehow.
You ever find yourself like consumed with work?
Yeah, I throw myself at work when I deal with stuff. Personal stuff, I throw myself to what I do. I find comfort in that, and that's not always good because we're all addicted to something, and I'm addicted to, not thinking about other shit. So I throw myself to work.
I heard Common say, right? I think he was talking to Angie Martinez about how he didn't think he could be previously a good boyfriend based on how focused on work he was. And when he said it, it made me think about myself when I was younger. Like, damn, that helped me understand my younger self being like so driven and focused and trying to be committed to something that you almost like you neglect the other aspects of your life. A big one being like love or partnership.
There's always going to be sacrifices though, and you have to just understand that, like, if there's always going to be a sacrificial lamb in anything that you do. So if you're taking so much time into your personal life and your relationship, your job is going to be sacrifice in some capacity, your career, and that's, it is what it is. Like, it's not a bad thing, because you need time to to throw into your relationship and your commitments, and to grow that, and you want to find a partner that understands that sometimes you're gonna be A and my job's gonna be B, but sometimes my job's gonna be A and you're gonna be B, and you just hope to find a partner that understands that they're not, that there's always, just like you're not always gonna be A in somebody. If they're taking what they're doing serious enough, then you may have to play a back seat, and you have to just understand, so you just always hope to find a partner that understands that shift. I think that's what we all hope for, is to find that partner that understands that.
It's tough.
It's tough. It is, honey. It is.
It's tough.
Yeah, but I don't want a broke partner, and I don't want a partner that's not trying to do something with their life and just sitting there. I don't want that. So if I have to be sacrificed at times, then that's just what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's the balance of life, like trying to find the happy mediums and everything, right?
I mean, listen, and for me, it's like, at the end of the day, if my mother was, I don't want to say she was okay, but if my mother allowed me to go off into this world and figure out my way, then I don't think any man should hold me back either, to be frank with you. If the most important piece of me, my heart in human form, allowed me to go off, after all the trials and shit in my family, and it's like, okay, you gotta go do what you gotta do. Ain't nobody gonna make me think different, to be honest with you. You have to understand, like, my mother's paramount, and she was okay with this, so you need to be too.
I'm sure she's super proud of you.
Yeah, and I'm proud of her. She has her own shit going on too, man. She's something that I look up to in a lot of ways. She started singing at the age of 45. Wow. And a lot of us would have never thought to do that at the age of 45.
That's amazing.
Yeah, she started singing at the age of 45. She always had this gift, and she was never able to develop it because of how she grew up and, you know, the overprotectiveness and being from Cuba and having to come here and all those different things. And opportunities that she didn't have growing up. So, you know, she decided to do it at the age of 45, and she had a partner. She had my father, who, God rest his soul, he allowed her to go every Friday night and went with her to these different like little restaurants and cabarets in Miami and sing, and ended up finding musicians to make a band. And she's had her band since '94. You know, so, yeah, and you know, but it took a partner. Right. It took a partner to understand that she had this dream and this goal and this fulfillment that she didn't have, and it's like, yo, do what you gotta do. And at 45 she started singing. That's beautiful. And she's 67 now. Beautiful. So
how old were you when your father passed?
22.
I was 15. Remind that.
Yeah, I was 22. That was painful. Yeah, you know, because for me it was a little different because my grandmother had passed 3 months prior and my grandfather passed 2 weeks after. Yeah, but you know, God has a way of always speaking to you if you really pay attention to the signs, because my dad passed away January 12 of 2010, which was the same day the Haiti earthquakes happened. So my dad passed away at 4:54 in the morning, and then the earthquakes hit a few hours later. So it was like, God was like, I know you're going through it, but this just happened on this side of the world, which is perspective. You know, it's perspective, and that was God's way of like, you know, you're gonna be fine regardless of how hard this hit is gonna be, and you're gonna have a hit in 2 weeks because your grandfather is gonna pass February 1st. But you know, it's all perspective. So you know, I when I think about my dad and I think about, you know, what happened, especially on that day, I think about what a lot of other people went through, and the families that were lost and never found. I was able to bury my dad. Right. A lot of people weren't able to bury their families on that day. So, so it's just, you got to look at things, and you know, you just learn to live a new normal. You know, you don't. People, when they talk about death, it's always like, you know, if you don't understand what it's like to lose a parent or lose, you know, family members that close, you'll never be able to. You know, there's never a way to like, it's gonna be okay. No, you just learn to live a new normal. Time and time. That's all it's gonna take to heal. Yeah.
That's why, like, you have my first album, Georgetown.
Yes.
That's why the cover is my father holding me as a baby, because first of all, he never wanted me to rap. First of all, you know, Guyanese parents, like, no, you're gonna be an accountant, a doctor, something. You know, music, no, hell no.
A lot of Caribbean families like that. Yeah.
So when he passed, I was just starting to learn how to rap. I was like 15, 16, right? And I took all those no's that he told me about what he didn't want me to do, and I kind of used that as the motivation to really do it.
Push forward.
And to show him that even though you didn't want me to do it, I'm gonna do it, and somehow I'm gonna be successful with it. Yeah. And somehow people on a large scale are gonna hear my music and hear what I've been doing, writing in my room late at night every night for. Right. And obviously right now, today, it isn't at the level that I want it to be yet, but it's progress. It's progress.
Listen, a lot of times people have ideas and they have wants and needs that they, you know, the difference between you and somebody else is the fact that you took a leap of faith and you did it. Yeah. And that's more than half of the people that want to just do something and they don't have enough courage or confidence to push forward on that. So kudos to you to push forward regardless of situation.
Kudos to you for you pushing forward and doing everything that you're doing, you know? I think we owe ourselves more credit, you know, than we give ourselves. I know I'm hard on myself.
Yeah, same here.
You know, so I think we should give ourselves more credit and just keep pushing.
And give each other credit.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. And I need to meet Slick Rick.
Oh!
I need to meet him.
Oh, you haven't met him yet?
No. Oh. You know why? Because I never wanted to be the friend that was like, yo, introduce me to... Like, nah.
Oh, no, I thought that you DJ'd at one of the... Because he's hosted...
I did, but I never spoke to him.
Oh, because I think you DJ'd at... Was it Passions?
Yeah, probably.
It was Passions
I DJ'd the night at 1306. I DJ'd at Live when he was there. Like,
he was at 13... He was there for my birthday.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you haven't met him yet.
I'm just not that guy. I'm not.
Oh.
But just so you know...
Oh, that's...
Because to me, that's like legendary.